Welcome to the October 18th, 2010 City of Waukegan City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conkin.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo.
Present.
Alderman Figueroa.
Present.
Alderman Newsom.
Present.
Alderman Tempest.
Present.
Alderman Needham.
Present.
Alderman Larson.
Present.
Alderman Rivera.
Present.
Alderman Cunningham.
Present.
Could you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, what? That's it. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please be seated. Tonight I have no mayor's comments other than that we will have an executive session this evening. That will come after the alderman's time, and at that point we will go into executive session, come back out, and adjourn the meeting. But following the alderman's time, for all intents and purposes, the meeting is over with. Take a, let's see, we have the audience time. First up is Violet Ricker, 10 North Sheridan Road. Violet?
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Violet, and I'm the director of Waukegan Main Street. It's our downtown development nonprofit organization. And I'm here today to give our outcomes report to tell you what we've been up to in the past month. The highlight that I'd really like to emphasize tonight is that we have elected a new board of directors. So I'd really briefly like to introduce each of them, and then I'll introduce our new president, who will give some comments tonight. Our new board members include Brendan Alviani, who is the manager of Joplin's Java in downtown Waukegan, Nadine Burleson, who is also a Waukegan resident and has her own company in Waukegan, Archie Castaneda, who owns and manages the Burgundy Room, Tara Toch, who owns and manages Natural Balance Massage Therapy, Tom O'Connell, who's been involved with downtown development for a very long time, Enedy Rivera, who is a member of the Latino Coalition and a lawyer and also a Waukegan resident, Bob Sobel, who owns Greentown Tavern, Brian Smith, who is a lawyer and downtown Waukegan resident, and our new ex officio member is Mike Pertel. He's our city representative and works for the Department of Planning and Zoning. We're very thankful for the city's continued support of Waukegan Main Street. And our continuing board members are Mary Claire Jakes, who is now our president, Jim Donovan, who is our vice president, Wendy Walker, Alderman Rick Larson, and Dr. Rich Haney. I'd like to introduce Mary Claire Jakes, who will tell you about what's going on. She's been involved with Main Street since about 2005. She was elected president this year, and she joined the board in 2006. She graduated from the University of Illinois in 1977 with a Bachelor of Science in Geology and a Bachelor of Arts in Physical Geography, and she received a Master of Science in Geology from Oregon State University in 1979. She worked for Shell until about 1989 when she started doing full-time volunteer service work for the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, and she continued in the Social Service Administration field until 2001. She holds an MBA from Lake Forest Graduate School of Management that she received in 2002. She's actively involved with prisoner visitation support, a national volunteer group of visiting prisoners in the federal prison system, and both a visitor and a national trainer. She's currently a business consultant for the Glunn's Family Winery and Cellars of Grays Lake, and she's also an artist. She's a potter, and her home studio is called Play in the Mud. Thanks very much.
Mary Claire Jakes, 1944 Ash Street, Waukegan. Well, I know many of you know me, some a little bit and some a lot. And I was named the president of Waukegan Main Street about a week ago. And some people said congratulations and some people said condolences. But I wouldn't have taken this position unless I felt that what I could do would make a difference. I do believe that Waukegan Main Street makes a difference in Waukegan. I think it makes a difference because it is really a volunteer group that has one staff person and really tries to marshal the forces of people who live in Waukegan and outside to make the downtown a better place to live for all of us. We get by because of our partnerships, and as you know, we are very grateful for the partnership with the City of Waukegan, who has backed us financially for numerous years. We continue to appreciate that and hope it continues. We understand the financial position the city is in, and we recognize its financial constraints, and we are trying to work with those as well, especially as we see businesses in downtown Waukegan. Some of them really thrive, like New Balance Massage Therapy, a new business that opened in February. She's doing great. If you haven't gone there, try it. Tara's wonderful, right across from the county building. And then we have businesses that came and went, like the Brick, which people loved, but they couldn't make it. So our job is really to try to get businesses down here and help them thrive, and to get people down here and help them understand what this place has to offer, and that it really has something for everyone. So I came to put a face with a name and a position. I know you know Jim Donovan, who's here, past president, vice president now, and Diane Verratti, the first president, so I figure I got two other people behind me, so I have great shoulders to stand on. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to getting to know each of you better, and if there's anything you ever need, my phone number is in the phone book, and give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Claire. Next up is, I'm going to try Cheryl Patinsky. Cheryl, was that? Patinsky.
I know it.
Help me out when you get up here.
Good evening. Do I have to lower this? My name is Cheryl Graham Tashinsky, and I believe a lot of you know me. And you're usually seeing me do a little bit of complaining about the city of Waukegan. Tonight I'm here to tell you about an initiative that our parish has started. I think this ties in great with Main Street, who we hope to partner with. We have opened a couple of things at our parish that are open to the public, not church related. We have an art gallery that's called the Undercroft Gallery, and we'd like to invite you to come. It's run by the Lake County Art League, and it is open a little sporadically right now, but we're trying to get them to increase their hours. Two of the things that we're doing specifically as parishioners is we have opened a Wednesday lunchroom, more in a cafe. It's only open for a couple of hours during lunch hour, but hopefully that will increase as time goes on. But it's another alternative to restaurants that, you know, again, like the Brick, that have gone by the wayside. We're starting out small, and I think Alderman Tempest can speak to our fish fries. Our next one is here. I have a packet. If everyone would take one. Oh, our parish is Christ Episcopal Church, right up here on Grand Avenue. So we're real close, and we're hoping that people will come and take advantage of some of the offerings we have. We're doing, to give you an idea, whatever your grandmother made for a casserole or chipped beef, some of the old-time favorites, that's what our menu is, and it's very limited, but it's a start, and we're hoping to increase it. But we have about 9 or 10 activities, and I put a packet together so that you could peruse it and come and join us. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cheryl. Next up, Margaret Carrasco, 532 North Lewis Avenue.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to announce that tomorrow I'll be turning the table on our Lake County Sheriff Curran and publicly serve a 5-day notice for requesting an immediate moratorium to all evictions of Waukegan families and also in Lake County. In light of the many legal proceedings of fraud against so many mortgage companies, every day there's more. Not only that, but also to request, we will be sending out to each and every elected official, not only from Waukegan, but of all Lake County, requesting their support on this matter. Every home in Waukegan is impacted, whether you're the person in the foreclosure or not. And when you're not, your house is losing value every time a family is evicted, every time there's a house that's unoccupied, abandoned. Additionally, to me, where the real damage is the emotional damage on our children. They know what's going on. I think it's irreparable. We must demand and let no bank foreclose without providing a hard copy of the note, which is the scenario in many cases. When a bank can't find a note, it can't foreclose on the home. Our community was hit very hard, and there's many cases of fraud. Therefore, with the upcoming election, everyone wants our vote. Well, as residents in Lake County, Waukegan, we want to know what you're going to do to help us. I'm asking the elected officials to make that call and apply the heat on our sheriff to have this moratorium before the November 2nd election. In addition to that, we see the need, and we'll be having dates and locations will be announced for conducting mobile legal clinics in our community. The predictions are that the second wave of foreclosures is going to be double that of the first. So each of our aldermen, we will publicly, each elected officer, publicize whether they're on board and whether they're willing to make that call and apply the effort to have this happen here, not only in Waukegan, but also for all Lake County homeowners. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Next is Chris Polos, 4721 North Lawndale Avenue, Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, how you doing? I'm here representing the Chicago Anti-Eviction Campaign, showing some solidarity for the call that was just put out. I think it's important to note that this is a noble step in the right direction to realizing housing like it should be as a human right, especially in the midst of an economic recession. This is really an exemplary action that could be taken, and we called for the same thing actually in Chicago to our Cook County Sheriff. So yeah, just a few more quick things. Really, I think at the core, and this is an issue about humane and sustainable economic development, and that realizing that, throwing people on the street is first of all, it doesn't solve the economic recession. It only exacerbates the problem. And I think pretty much most importantly, it places the blame and the burden on the wrong group of people. So yeah, in light of that, in light of the larger structural economic problems right now, a moratorium on eviction, all economically motivated evictions campaign is really kind of the only rational and humane choice I think policymakers can make. So yeah, I just want to add that in, and good luck.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Chris Blanks, 409 Oak Street in Waukegan.
I definitely want to say I concur and support what both the last two speakers said. I have quite a bit of stuff to cover here, so I do support that. First and foremost, Brother Blanks. Brother Blanks, abolitionist, founding president of Black Abolition Movement for the Mind, a grassroots poetic 501c3 organization dedicated to the upliftment and the enlightenment of the community and people. So I'm here to extend an invite to you all. I believe you all may have a copy of the flyer by now. This is our upcoming grand opening of our BAM Poetry Resource and Information Headquarters, located at 801 McAllister Avenue, Waukegan, Illinois. This is on Sunday, October the 24th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And this is also the opening of our National Action Network of Lake County, so they both will be partnered, and as you know, we as an organization, we definitely believe in utilizing and teaching our youth to utilize their arts to help to uplift and enlighten our community. If I can share with you right quick, 4 years before Dr. Wright ultimately, untimely death, He wrote a profound article titled Menticide, the Ultimate Threat to the Black Race. In defining menticide, the doctor explains that it is the deliberate and systematic destruction of a person or a group's mind, which may give a clue to why the black race, after developing such an advanced civilization, has for the last 400 years been assisting in its own destruction. Most African people in America are aware that our minds was tampered with. Just to skip around, all roads to our unity, we must work together in organizing and mobilizing African people in America. All of our organizing strategies must lead to getting our minds straight and stopping menticide. Without this occurring, we will continue in our present state in mental stagnation and servitude. In saying that, you know, Mayor, I recall a couple of times where you had spoken, you were saying that there were some people crossing the street while you was driving, and I recall a couple of, an incident on the beach where there was some young people that was out there, and I guess they was being disorderly or disruptive. And, and I know he was considering imposing some stiff penalties for these actions. But I would definitely would like to take this time to extend an invite and to encourage you all to maybe aid and assist us first in some preventive measures. So what we're doing here as an organization is trying to seek some preventive measures, because what that sounded like to me was more of someone who has some behavior or mind issues that need some aid and assistance before handcuffs on their wrists or cells around their bodies. So what we're doing at this particular organization is trying to establish that. I myself, being 20 years of cocaine clean, crack free, been out here in the system. Thank you, sir. 20 years cocaine clean, crack free. I've caught my cases here in these streets. Many of you are familiar with my record. It's no secret. And so what I would like to say is how the arts have helped me. And basically what I'm composing, what we've put together here, is things that I know that have helped me. And I know arts in the right form can definitely be utilized to help uplift our community and teaching our youth to use their talents and their minds, opposed to selling drugs and getting caught up in the pitfalls and the traps of society and the system. So in saying that, I want to encourage you all to please come out, aid and assist us in whatever capacity you can. We're not looking for money, but we are saying come out, see what we're doing, in whatever capacity you can aid and assist us to help our youth help themselves. Because that's what we have to do, is help our youth to help themselves, and that's dealing with this right here. I know firsthand what helped me to get to where I am. And so, in short, now, in closing, I'd like to share with you a short piece of spoken word, very short, as a spoken word artist myself. And one of the cases which I was caught, it was called, I caught a case which was a felon. I was a felon. And I say was because the thing that I'm labeled does not define me, who I am, and where I must go. So it says felons, class X. Many of us bling bling with platinum, gold, diamond, watches, and rings. Balling, shot calling, and think we're doing big things. Slang just enough cane and rocks to flip and then recop. Maybe even flip a Lex or a Rolex until that unfaithful day the cops batter ram the doors and come carry us away. Stealing, boosting, burglary, robbery, traffic, or some federal offense may be the nature of the crime, for which we have to serve, losing valuable freedom and time. Once released as convicted felons class X, the success of day-to-day life becomes this challenge to be met, with this invisible cross of an X hanging around our proud and strong, strong necks. A challenge the righteous to get paid, stay out of jails and cells as a modern-day slave. A challenge to find a decent job. Now we're the victims that's constantly robbed of opportunities and chances of success to achieve our goals without settling for less. Why should society commit this crime of obstructing our inalienable rights to pursue happiness and become our best? To pursue happiness and become our best. Why should society commit this crime of, why should society commit this crime of obstructing our inalienable rights to pursue happiness and become our best? I blew it. A little tired. But anyway, that's just to give. If you want to hear the rest of that poem, please come out. This will be October the 24th. And so that is some of the work that we're doing. and in the community, teaching our youth to do this. Thank you for your time and
Thanks,
your
Chris.
attention. All right.
Appreciate it. That concludes our public audience time this evening. I'll take a motion to accept the minutes of October 4th, 2010, regular meeting and executive session. Motion by Alderman Newsom, seconded by Alderman Tempest. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Item 6, resolutions, proclamations. We have a presentation by Nadine Burleson on the Holiday Fest. Nadine? She didn't make it. Okay. Well, maybe we'll catch up at the next City Council meeting with all of that. We go into committee reports and motions. The first is the Public Works Committee. Alderman Rivera.
Thank you, Your Honor. Public Works came to order at approximately 5:05 p.m. This past Monday last week. We had 3 items. One of the items is going to be going into the Finance Committee. But item 8, grant permission to waive the local hiring ordinance for the Green Bay Road water main replacement project. And I so move.
We have the motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. Roll call, please. Excuse me.
Alderman?
Go ahead and, well, before we go into that, Mayor, I did ask Newton Finn, our Director of Public Works, to look into any precautions on how we're handling this, with regards to the local hiring ordinance. But
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain it, Newton.
And I appreciate that, Alderman. It is a new area. It's really the first time it's
Exactly.
come up for involving official action. So it's a good time for us to take a step back and take a second look at it before we act. Under the local hiring ordinance, as we've passed it, it ideally should be waived when the specifications go up. Okay, that didn't happen here, in my understanding. However, we did get a couple of bids back, and neither had a local hiring component in them. So I assume at this point it's not fatal that we didn't waive it at the time we should have. Certainly we could waive it now belatedly to allow one of these bids to be accepted. When the local hiring ordinance is waived on a particular bid, a reason has to be stated for waiving it. The one that I think has the largest degree of applicability is that in this particular project, it might interfere with the completion of the project, the startup, the progress of it, that in this particular project to impose the 30% local hire requirement would retard it, would impede it. So, but the council, that has to be part of the waiver, is that it has to be articulated of record what the reason is for waiving it in this particular instance. So I think if we're going to entertain a motion to waive it, we should be waiving it for a reason that it would impact the project unduly, slow it down, or something along those lines, whatever the council deems the proper finding.
Well, one of the biggest reasons that we waived it was because of the one contractor, had local people, Waukegan people working in it. Sure, it didn't meet the 33%. This is going to be very hard to meet the 33% that we're talking about. Basically, I believe he had about 7% of his workforce was from Waukegan. So that's why we went with Campanella and Sons. And I know we had a lengthy discussion on it. Alderman Cunningham, I know brought this to the attention of the committee as well, brought some very valid points. So that would be the reason why we're going to, waive the, the bid. So I so move on that. If there's any other questions.
Alderman, I think what we'll need to do is we'll need to make a motion to amend item A first. to include the reason in there. So if you might, I'll take a motion to amend by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. The motion will be to add the language that the reason that the project, the local hiring ordinance for the Green Bay Road water main replacement project is being waived is due to the timely need to complete the project and the inability to find the company that met the 30% requirement. So we have that motion before us. Roll call on the motion to amend.
Alderman Conken.
Whoa, no, that's not the no, I don't
Well,
think the motion should be read.
I don't think they met 33%.
Well,
No.
Your Honor,
No,
Your
So I
Honor,
want to make sure, you
we're
know,
unable to meet,
right.
no,
is what
Your
I
Honor,
said.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Well, just so everybody knows, everybody that bid, nobody met the 30%. No one was even close.
Yeah.
No one was close to meeting that bid on it. No one was close.
I believe the mayor said unable to meet.
Unable to, that's what I did say.
33%.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the language we really want to be advertising, unable to meet. I think there, because this is new to the city of Waukegan and for this bidding process, I think we are relaxing that for the first time until there is a time where people begin to understand that this process is within the city of Waukegan, and we're going to be enforcing that. The language that was not able to meet or did not meet, that's sending a signal that we're going to do it all the time. And I'm here to tell you, we're not going to do it all the time. Make sure you get that then. We're not going to be doing this all the time because of this is the first time we're trying to go through this process and be as fair as possible with this. Then because they did not come in and probably was taken back by one of our ordinance, let's go through it this time. And as we move forward, understand we're going to be expecting companies to come in here and meeting the expectation of finding folks within our city. I charge the department heads. I charge the department heads for those companies that are coming in to be a part of the RFPs. Hey, our department heads knew who's here, where they work at, where you can find them at. So that's kind of where I think that's the position that the committee took in understanding we need to get this project done because it's detriment to the city of Waukegan. So I think that's where, at least that's the understanding I thought we all had.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Alderman Moiseo.
In the committee, we took the contractor who met, obviously, to Mr. Haggerty's specifications.
Yeah.
And the one that came in under budget, what we were budgeted for, or close to the budget, and the one that we felt would have the most number of Waukegan people working for them.
Okay, so you'd rather that the motion to amend would include that the reason that the Campanella and Sons was picked was because, one, the timely need to finish the project, and because of those that bid on the project, they had the most number of Waukegan residents employed.
Absolutely.
Would that be correct for you?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Local. Okay.
Yeah. And
Local.
Mayor
Local
Camp-
people.
and
Local.
Close to
Campanella,
Waukegan
Yes.
residents.
Mayor Campanella still came under.
And they were
you know,
still under the
Still
budget.
under
So
the,
Absolutely, that we
the
understand.
engineering estimate.
Yeah.
The issue that we're
Thanks,
dealing
Greg.
with right
Thanks, Alderman
here
Moiseo.
that was brought up by Alderman Cunningham was the specific language regarding the Waukegan hiring ordinance. So instead of residents, then we'll use local residents as opposed to Waukegan residents then, correct? Corporation Counsel seems to have some concern.
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable, not with the sentiments expressed by the council, but with how they fit into the ordinance I'm trying to interpret.
Can we?
That local hiring ordinance allows the council to waive or modify its application to a given project, at least the version I've got in front of me, in one of 5 situations, and only one of 5. 1, where there's an emergency. 2, where the work is of a highly specialized nature. 3, where there are other laws or regulations that would prohibit local hiring being employed as a requirement. 4, where there's an intergovernmental agreement. Now, none of those, as I can see, apply to this particular project. So I'm left with number 5, which is situations where the application of this requirement would unduly deter potential bids, or, since we're past the bidding stage, and here's where I think the language we have to use, or create other potential problems with a public works project's startup, progress, and completion. And I think what I heard the council say is that were we to impose the local hiring now and have to go back out for bids, et cetera, we would be delaying the startup of this project and its completion. And I think we do fit, based upon the sentiments I've heard expressed, we do fit under exception 5. But that is the one I would urge the council to use as the reason for waiving the public bidding.
So moved.
Okay.
So make the
local hiring.
Just make
Okay.
the motion.
Then we'll take the
Similar to-
motion with that language,
Yes.
that basically
Yes.
it reflects that number 5, category number 5,
Yes.
under our local hiring ordinance is met, and therefore the waiver is allowed.
Correct.
Will that be sufficient for you?
Very
Yes.
sufficient.
Okay, Alderman Tempest.
In the past, Newton, I think we used the term best qualified bidder. You know, this council votes 9-0, it's over with. It doesn't,
Right.
it's a complete vote. I don't think it's debatable if it's 9-0 vote. I could be wrong, but.
Well, yeah, Alderman, I would differ with you. I have great respect for your
thinking out loud with you.
interpretation, you know, and you've been here, God knows your experiences speaks volumes. But my understanding as I read the ordinance, and I wrote a short little memo, one-page memo on this, because I knew the subject would be coming up this evening. Everybody should have that. The council can award a bid when public bids are put out there, and we receive bids back. We can award a bid to the lowest responsible bidder. That's what the ordinance calls it. However, how that process works and what goes into determining the lowest responsible bidder is set out in a different provision of the ordinance, a sister provision. And that is 2459, which sets forth certain factors in addition to price, other than price, which the council may take into consideration in determining the lowest responsible bidder. I've highlighted some of them in the short memo. The ability of a bidder to perform the contract in an adequate and timely fashion, the reputation and experience of the bidder, the quality of the bidder's performance on previous city projects. So if you've got a bidder who may be a little higher but has a long history of the city of performing well, that can be taken into consideration. And the ability of the bidder to provide future maintenance and service. Again, the more local the bidder, arguably the more easy it is for that bidder to come back if there's some tweaking needs to be done or some repair or maintenance. So those are factors that can be entered into the decision-making process as to who the lowest responsible bidder is. It isn't purely a matter of the dollars involved. But when you give a bid to a bidder who is not the lowest dollar figure bidder, it is necessary for the council, just like we set forth a reason why we're waiving the local hiring ordinance in this particular instance, we would need to set forth a reason which of those factors applies so as to why we're not going with the lowest dollar figure, but we're deeming somebody else to be the lowest responsible bidder for a project.
Okay. Number 5, right?
Yeah.
So move.
Okay, so I think we have the language regarding the amendment to item A, why we're waiving the local hiring ordinance. It is exception number 5 in our ordinance. We have the motion by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Roll call vote, please, on the amendment, then we will vote on the item as amended.
Alderman Conken.
I'm going to vote aye. I'd like to make a comment, though. I would hope that in consideration of the fact that we are waiving this ordinance for the local hiring, that should this project become a project where more hires are needed, that Campanella and Sons will give consideration to Waukegan workers, if necessary, for them to hire more people for this project. I vote aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
I vote aye and concur with Alderman Conken.
Alderman Figueroa.
I vote aye, and I want to echo the comments made by Alderman Cunningham. These are crucial comments. I think that we worked very hard on this ordinance, and being a first time through, let's try to make future projects work even better. So I vote aye.
Alderman Newsom. Aye. Alderman Tempest.
I vote aye, but I'd like to explain my vote. I believe the higher ordinance of one-third is too great, very difficult for large contractors to meet. I think we need to go and revisit that. 15% might be 1 in 7 employees might be a little more realistic to meet. The idea of hiring locally, absolutely, absolutely. But I believe sometimes maybe in the future contracts we could put in how many local hirings did you have and weigh that as we grant the things. I vote aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye, I'd like to explain my thinking. Because when you're dealing with prevailing wage projects, which are typically those funded by the government, you're dealing with companies that can comply with that. And because of union work rules, oftentimes, most of the time, the people with seniority are the ones called for the project before someone who may be newer to the job with the union. Therefore, there is limitations on to what your bidding partner can do as far as bringing in local content people or people who live directly in Waukegan in this example. I would like to say that it would be informative to have the union bidder or non-union bidder, prevailing wage bidder that wins a contract, to have a minimum statement of the statement saying what the minimum quantity percentage of the employees would be locally, and hold them to that standard. If they fail to keep the 10% because, for whatever reason, we would like them to hire that local contact person to replace the one who left the project to maintain that minimum standard. I think that's reasonable. I vote aye.
Alderman Rivera.
And I vote aye, and I want to thank Tom Haggerty and Newton Finn, seeing that this was the first time that we're going to be using this ordinance. I definitely felt that we wanted to make sure that legally we were doing things right. And I want to thank the Public Works Committee, too, for their intellectual comments on it. And, it was very important. And, of course, I agree with all the aldermen. We want to put our people here to work. So thank you on that.
Alderman Cunningham.
Thank you. My vote is aye, and I will make a brief comment. This has, I think today, we've started something that has sent a precedence through Lake County, and particularly in Waukegan. We have one of the highest unemployment rate in Lake County, if not the state of Illinois. We're sent a message to everyone coming in here, getting our dollars by our people. I want to commend this council and thank this council. This is something that Alderman Figueroa and I and the rest of the council realize. We've started something, and I guarantee you, those contractors coming to our city will rethink the way they do things. I agree with Alderman Larson. I agree with some of the things that he's saying, but I disagree with the fact that you can't find, or they're going to be looking for seniority. They're going to be looking for Waukegan people. And as long as they're looking for Waukegan people, may the best man or woman wins. Thank you. Aye.
Passed.
Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you. Now we will move to vote again on item A as amended. So again, item A is amended. A motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Item B, grant permission to award the bid for Green Bay Water Main Replacement Project to Campanella and Sons of Wadsworth, Illinois, in the amount of $472,744.30. I so move.
We have the motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. Yes.
Alderman, if this was not the lowest bid, dollar-wise, we will have to state for the record why the Campanella Company is deemed, or you're making a motion that they be deemed the lowest responsible bidder. I assume that has to do with the fact that they're here to help if there's any problem afterwards, or fixing, or maintenance, or future service, plus the fact they have a long history of working on city projects and working on them very well. I assume those are your reasons, but they should be articulated as part of the record when that motion is made as to why we are deeming a bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder who may not be the lowest bidder dollar-wise.
And that's fine. We can add that they're familiar with the, with the infrastructure here in the city of Waukegan.
I think what we'll need to do then is we'll have to amend this with that language. And basically what would you like to have in there under the amended language? Corporation Counsel, why don't you state that again, what you think would be most appropriate? Would it be familiar?
The particular bidder's ability to perform in an adequate and timely fashion, the reputation and experience of the bidder.
Right, there you go.
The quality of the bidder's performance on previous city projects, given the long history of this particular bidder working for the city, and the ability of the bidder, given the local geographical location, to provide future maintenance and service in a very timely and efficient manner. Those would be the factors I would suggest City Council is considering in its decision about awarding this contract to the lowest responsible bidder.
Okay, thank you. We'll just incorporate that, what the Corporation Counsel has said. We won't have to read all through that again, but I'll take a motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Moiseo, to amend item B under the Public Works Committee. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera. Alderman Cunningham.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Now we return to item B as amended. We'll take the motion by Alderman Rivera, seconded by Alderman Moiseo, to accept as amended. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Figueroa. Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham. Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera. Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Rivera. That concludes Public Works Committee for the evening.
That concludes, like I said earlier, we had another item, but that's going to be going to the Finance Committee for the next finance.
That was a bond use,
right,
correct?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, next up would be Finance Committee. Alderman Needham, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Finance Committee met a week ago, Monday, October 11th, approximately 5:35. We have several items on our agenda. Item A is being held in committee. Move to item B, authorization to award a contract to Creative Financial Solutions for professional accounting services. And I'm working off a couple different sheets, so bear with me. We amended some of these things at the committee level. Would be Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the Finance Committee recommend the City Council award a contract to Creative Financial Solutions for professional accounting services through April 30th, 2011, amount not to exceed $31,850 as amended.
We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Did you have another comment?
I assume, Alderman, that this was not put out for bid because it is professional services that the city is retaining. Is that correct? That's the exception this falls into. It should be set forth in record as it now is.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item C, authorization to award a contract to Kane McKenna and Associates Incorporated for tax increment financing consulting services. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move, that the Finance Committee recommend that the City Council award a contract to Kane McKenna and Associates Incorporated for tax increment financing consulting services through April 30th, 2011, in an amount not to exceed $35,000 as amended.
And I should also add to the record that the reason this is not going out for bid is because it is also an RFP, request for professional services, so it does not have to be sent out for bid. We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Could I have a point of order first?
Yes, Alderman Tempest.
We're putting in there as amended. In committee, they wanted more money, and we changed the dates. Do we need as amended in the motion? The motion is quite clear when you're saying for not to exceed $35,000. Why do we need the word as amended?
To be honest with you, I don't think it would make any difference to have it there or not there. I think it was just reflecting the action taken by the committee. They did amend it in committee. So I think that's really just giving the reflection to that action.
Okay, as long as it doesn't bother. We did lower it, so.
No, the Corporation Council thinks we're okay.
Okay, thank you.
And we're on the roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Item D, authorization to issue a request for proposal for consulting services / feasibility study related to road race venue. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the Finance Committee recommend that the City Council authorize the Director of Finance and Administration issue a RFP to receive quotes for the completion of a feasibility study regarding road race venues located in the city of Waukegan.
Okay. We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Moiseo.
This is just a request.
This is just a request RFP, so basically we'll do a voice vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. We have the opposition by Alderman Tempest. Thank you.
Item E, authorization to waive the bid procedure and award a contract to Kayenta for the upgrade of the city's enterprise resource planning system. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move, that the Finance Committee recommends that the City Council, based on sole source criteria, authorize a waiver of the bid procedure and award a contract to Kayenta Incorporated for the upgrade of the city's enterprise resource planning system in an amount not to exceed $150,000. And if I may, Your Honor, that's basically a very much needed upgrade in software. I think we're moving up 2 versions to get us up to speed. We're going to be lagging way behind if we don't. If you recall, the Kayenta handles our purchasing, budgeting, water billing, receivables, payroll. I don't know, did I leave anything out?
Cooking.
No cooking. I so move.
Thank you. We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest, and I should state for the record that this is another RFP and also a sole source provider. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
I want to explain that when it's RFP, that doesn't cost us no money, correct?
No, it's the ERP.
ERP?
We've already.
Oh, I thought
We've
he.
already gone out and got the.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Okay, aye.
Alderman
Oh,
Figueroa.
I see, I'm on the wrong, okay, never mind.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
I need my glasses.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Right.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item F, authorization to use the bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract for ERP system immigration. So basically, we're just approving the use of the bond proceeds for the preceding award. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the Finance Committee recommend the City Council authorize the use of bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract to Kayenta Incorporated for the purpose of enterprise resource planning system upgrade in amount not to exceed $150,000, budget code 307-1307-26495. And I so move.
We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest, and again, I will state that this is an RFP and a sole source supplier. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Item G, authorization to use bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract for information system renewal and replacement. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the Finance Committee recommends to the City Council that the City Council authorize use of bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract to CDW-G for the purpose of information system renewal and replacement, specifically for the Police Department information system hardware, software, licenses, and storage equipment in an amount not to exceed $150,000, budget code 307-1307-26495.
We have the motion by Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Needham. Now, if I might ask, just so I can place again on the public record, what was the reason for waiving the bids on that? Tina, would you like to explain that, or Chief, or someone?
I'm trying to check my notes here, but are they the, yeah.
This is just authorization to use the bond proceeds for these last few items.
This is already approved.
They went through the Public Safety Committee already and were approved either for contract award. This one in particular is a governmental contract at CDWG. So it's through an intergovernmental contract so that you don't need to go through that purchasing process. It's already been taken care of. But the rest of these agenda items don't really have anything to do with the procurement process. It's just authorizing the use of bond proceeds.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is also important because we need to get in compliance with this system.
Okay. We have the motion again by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please, on item G.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Item H, authorization to use bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract for fire equipment and vehicles. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the Finance Committee recommends the City Council authorize use of bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract to Foster Coach Sales Incorporated for the purpose of fire equipment and vehicles, specifically a replacement ambulance in an amount not to exceed $181,483, budget code 307-1307-26394. And I so move.
We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item I, authorization to use the bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract for fire equipment and vehicles. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move that the Finance Committee recommend the City Council authorize the use of bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract to KME Fire Apparatus for the purpose of fire equipment and vehicles, specifically a fire engine, which is a severe service stainless steel pumper in an amount not to exceed $442,149, budget code 307-1307-26394.
We have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Item J, our last item, authorization to use bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract for fire equipment and vehicles. Finance Committee recommends, and I so move, that the Finance Committee recommends that the City Council authorize use of bond proceeds to fund the award of a contract to Air One Equipment Incorporated for the purpose of fire equipment and vehicles, specifically an NFPA engine, in an amount not to exceed $34,909.50, budget code 307-1307-26394.
I have the motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye, and I'd like to make a comment. I want to congratulate the chief and his equipment committee for moving promptly to get one of the last 3 engines of this type that's available in the U.S. and save the city tens of thousands of dollars over the next generation engine. Thank you. I vote aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
That is all.
That concludes the Finance Committee. We move to item 8, old business. Item A was a motion by Alderman Figueroa, which was seconded by Alderman Rivera, to adopt as presented an ordinance approving zoning calendar 2298, petitioner Norma Giron, located at 1300 North Jackson Street, conditional use permit for an auto repair facility. It was requested to be held over by Alderman Tempest. Alderman Tempest, any further comments?
No, it's fine.
You're fine. Okay. So the motion, again, so just for the record, was made by Alderman Figueroa, seconded by Alderman Rivera. We'll take a roll call, please, on item A under old business.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item B was a motion by Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Moiseo, to approve as presented a clockwise theater lease for 221 North Genesee Street. The request was to be held over by Alderman Tempest. Alderman Tempest, comments?
I don't recall holding that over, but it's fine.
Okay. Then we have no, and we'll move forward again with the original motion by Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. On item B, roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye, and that's absolutely the best use of that building at this time.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye. And I agree with Alderman Moiseo. I think that the organization that's, what's the Council for the Arts for the City of Waukegan will be cooperating with the Clockwise Theater, and some great plans for that space, so I vote aye.
Yeah.
If I could vote more than once, I would be
Okay. Corporation
I'm really
Council.
excited about that. That would be great.
Okay. Corp
Yes.
Council has a comment.
I am informed that the contract still has a glitch or two to be worked out. Is that correct?
We're still trying to work out some of the refinements of the language on that. So while we appreciate that everybody's supportive of it, we certainly are too, but if you'd hold it again for a vote until we have those last couple lease pieces.
Who's
till we have
Clockwise
to-
Theater's lawyer?
Who is Clockwise
I'm
Theater?
being funny.
I think I saw you at the play, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
if we could
we
hold
have
it
a
again.
request by Alderman Newsom, given the new information that was just provided to us, notwithstanding the votes already cast, which will be null and void at this point, then to
We got to wait.
just bring it back at the next city council meeting, so you'll hold it over, make a request to hold over that.
Been held over.
The
We need
table.
to move
Thank
the
you,
motion
Alderman
to
Needham.
table.
Appreciate that. And so we'll bring it back at the next meeting with all the refined language to it. You'll get it before then, so that you can understand the
I
change.
think you held it over last time.
We've held it over.
It
Do
may
we
have
need to
been,
make
so.
a motion to table?
Well, okay.
was held
Item
over by
C,
Newsom.
which is, again, this is a motion to approve the PACE Ad Shelter Agreement. We don't have any names attached to this. This would have come out of which committee?
It wasn't ready.
It wasn't ready at the
You
last
to
time.
review it.
Are we prepared to go forward now?
seen it. Have you ever seen it? Yes, we are.
So we are prepared to move forward with the PACE Ad Shelter Agreement. Alderman, do you have any questions about this, since this is something that's new?
I haven't seen the agreement.
Would you rather see this again at the next city council meeting,
Unless
there's a timeliness issue with this?
That's been submitted now for about a month. Everybody's had a copy. It was held over at the last committee
Did
because
everyone receive
Corporation
copies of
Council
this?
hadn't.
Right.
No, it was on the agenda.
Were copies of this agreement placed for the aldermen to obtain and review before this meeting?
Yes, it was, Your Honor, that each alderman had a copy. It went through Judiciary Committee and approved in Judiciary, and the reason it was held over at the last meeting is because Corporation Council had not had a chance to review it. And I apologize for that, but that was the reason it was held over.
Well, just let me clear, just again, let me ask one more time so we clarify this. This was made available to each of the aldermen in a hard copy placed in their files.
That is correct.
You did not get one?
I know that each alderman, I gave everybody a copy. That's why I know everybody got a copy.
Well,
I didn't
I
read
think
it.
we have
I know
some
we get a lot of-
confusion
we
here.
get a lot
Let
of,
me ask this question. If it's held over for 2 more weeks,
Can they read it?
how will this impact the agreement?
Russ would know, and he's up in his office.
How long is the contract, Anna?
How? 5 pages. We don't have time, unless you would like to take a break to read the 5 pages.
Could they read it?
Maybe we
Prepare
could
you-
hold it
Can you
over
give
and we
us
could
the
read it in.
highlights? Can you give us a highlight of it? What's that?
Ann Lynn was the one who put it together.
Right, but I want them.
Ann Lynn put it together. We can,
Didn't Ann Lynn talk about this no?
she sure did.
Yeah, she talked about it the last meeting.
Yeah, I know. Ann came up and
Oh.
gave a briefing.
Newt, do you want to let her give a brief description of it? Okay.
I have no problem.
Anna, why don't you give a brief overview of what we're dealing with here so they have a better comfort level?
PACE changed the type of shelter that they provide, and it's basically the exact same agreement that we used before, except for it's just accommodating this new type of shelter for the PACE bus stations. They don't use the old person that they use a new business. So this is the new business with the new type of shelter.
Do we have any questions as to this issue?
There's also some points about advertising. The city was going
gets
to
some.
participate, receive some of the revenues for the advertisement, that this new company is responsible for the maintenance of the
Correct.
shelters. Was that about it?
That's all I remember seeing from the letter that came from PACE. I think that it was, I mean, there is a revenue sharing. Alderman Needham.
This went through Judiciary Committee. What was the vote?
Oh,
there?
yes, it did.
5-0.
Okay.
And
You know,
one
Russ is up in,
technical change 'cause of
well,
shelter.
wait a minute. He was up in his office.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think we've kind of gotten the points down here. It seems pretty innocuous. Thank you very much, Anna. Let's try to move forward with the vote on this and get this off the agenda tonight. So we'll take the motion by Alderman Figueroa, seconded by Alderman Cunningham, to approve the PACE Ad Shelter Agreement. I'm going to take a roll call on this, please.
Alderman Conken. Aye. Alderman Moiseo. Aye. Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest.
I vote aye. I explain my vote. It did go through committee. I think the confusion tonight is that the committee members had an agreement, and we had it. It was last week, and it was held over because it wasn't on the agenda. But I think, in all fairness, from the future, when we're voting on the agreement ought to be in hard copy on the table here, so each alderman could, and we're not going to could read it again. I vote aye.
Alderman Needham. Aye. Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Okay, ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Can I clarify that for Alderman Tempest? Maybe you didn't hear me when I said that I had made sure that at the last meeting, there was a copy for each of the aldermen, in with all of the others. We did have a copy for each of the aldermen.
I remember reading it now.
Okay.
So, but anyway.
Good, the ayes have it. So we've gotten that moved off. Okay, communications, any communications? Doesn't appear to be. Under new business and recommended actions by Corporation Council, approved payroll dated October 7th, 2010 in the amount of $1,283,156.48. Take a motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken. Aye. Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Aye. Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson. Alderman Rivera. Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item B, approve bills dated October 18th, 2010 in the amount of $2,219,711.28. Motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item C, I take a motion by Alderman Needham, seconded by Alderman Tempest, to accept the monthly reports from the Collector's Office and Treasurer's Office for the month of September 2010. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The reports have been officially accepted. Thank you. Item D, appoint Mr. Peter Bullock to the Historic Preservation Commission. I'll take a motion by Alderman Moiseo, seconded by Alderman Figueroa. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye, and congratulations, and thank you.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item E, Building, Planning, and Zoning Department requests permission to go out to bid for the demolition of the New Sun Building at the northeast corner of Madison Street and Sheridan Road. Take a motion by Alderman Figueroa, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Item F, request permission to enter into an agreement with 102 Waukegan Street, LLC, for the lease of 22 parking spaces in the city garage known as Lot E, which agreement also terminates the previous lease agreement for the surface lot immediately to the south of city parking garage E. Take a motion by Alderman Figueroa, seconded by Alderman Moiseo. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest. Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye, and I appreciate the fact that the retail businesses on Genesee Street may benefit from this change.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Item 11, ordinances and resolutions. Requesting the, coming from the administration, requesting the City Council to adopt a resolution for the closing of the Amstutz Expressway for the filming of Contagion from 6 a.m. November 8th, 2010 through 5 a.m. November 9th, 2010. Take a motion by Alderman Moiseo, seconded by Alderman Cunningham. Roll call, please.
A question, please?
Yes, Alderman Conken.
From where to where? Are we Grand Avenue to Greenleaf? Are we?
The whole thing.
It's the entire, yeah.
10th Street?
They always, yeah.
No.
Or
No,
all
no,
the way
no,
out?
from,
Genesee to Greenwood.
that's normally where it's closed for motion picture.
Grant, not
No, all the way
No,
all the way up.
where it comes up the hill and curves?
I got you. Okay.
Okay,
Yep, thank you.
okay.
We'll have to check on that.
23 hours.
Yeah, yes, Alderman Cunningham, please.
The only thing I would caution is that we make sure that we give those drivers ample amount of time. And I think, and I'm speaking for the aldermen of those wards, but I thought this issue came up before. Now that traffic is going to come down Sheridan Road, I think we definitely need to warn the residents on that they're going to get about 15,000 cars coming down Sheridan Road for that one day. I know that issue came up before as to why are all these cars and no one really knew. And I think it was a filming of Batman or when it happened. So I think we just need just publicize as to when the road's going to be closed, what time, and to let particularly though that Sheridan Road corridor know what's going on. No, the retailers, McDonald's is going to like it. I doubt if the homeowners are going to like it. And I might be speaking prematurely for Alderman Tempest and Needham, but I know that issue came up before as to why so many cars are coming down at one time.
Thank you, Alderman Cunningham. And what we'll do is I will talk to Dave Motley and to the Chief of Police, and what we may do is a targeted call through our automated system and let them know that this is occurring, and that way there shouldn't be too much of a surprise.
Let the drivers know also.
Alderman, I'm sorry. David, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
The strategy is that we will have very little messages board at each end of the Amstutz, so the community neighbors driving will know that the road will be closed from that day to that day. So we identified that. We also looked at doing the Connect CTY calls to any of the residents in that area that would be affected.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Pending approval today, 2 weeks in advance to the event, so that should be the proper amount of time. Okay.
Good. All right. Did we take a vote on
No,
that?
not yet.
No. Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Conken.
Aye.
Alderman Moiseo.
Aye.
Alderman Figueroa.
Aye.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Tempest.
Aye.
Alderman Needham.
Aye.
Alderman Larson.
Aye.
Alderman Rivera.
Aye.
Alderman Cunningham.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. Now, we will go to Alderman's time. Following this, we will go into executive session to cover claim settlement, pending litigation, and real estate sale negotiations. And we go to Alderman's time first. Thank you.
Alderman Conken.
Thank you. Just want to mention a couple of things. One, before we meet again, it will be Halloween on actually Halloween Day, and there will be kids out, so please, everybody keep an eye out for the kids and be aware that they're going to be out there when you're driving around your neighborhoods. Voting, again, the only reason I'm going to mention it now is because if I mention it the next time, because we will meet before Election Day again, but if I mention it then, it won't get heard on the television, it won't be broadcast until after the elections. By then it'll be too late, so I'd like to mention it now. Make sure you get out there and vote. And my final comment, hey, I was right last time. There was one more day of registration left at that time. That's all. Thank you.
Alderman Moiseo.
Two things. Margaret Carrasco actually did bring up a good point. There was something on the national news about foreclosures. There has been a lot of fraud involved in that. It needs to be checked out. A lot of banks have not done it right. I saw that on the national news. We do need to check into that because that only hurts everybody. And the second situation is political signs. I know the state came out with their new rules, and you can have a political sign on private property for as long as you want. But I didn't know the city was endorsing all these people. There are signs on all kinds of parkways and this and that. I would just, hopefully the mayor can instruct Public Works, whoever, if they see them, just pick them up and throw them out. They cannot be on parkways. They cannot be on city property. They cannot be on city right-of-ways. They cannot, and, you know, the only message you're going to get is either, if they see them, pick them up and throw them out.
We've had city crews and code enforcement going out over a week now and doing that. It's hard to keep track of it.
Play by the rules. You got to play by the rules.
Our property at Sheridan and 120 sprouted a crop of them the other day, and I'll be pulling those down myself after this meeting. And I've pulled up about 50 to 60 signs myself since this election, and that's all sides, not just one.
No,
all sides.
Anything on a parkway, anything on a public right-of-way cannot be there.
Yep.
Glad you clarified that, Mayor. Glad you clarified that.
Well, certainly.
Alderman Figueroa.
I'll pass.
Alderman Newsom. Alderman Tempest.
Yes, I'd like to bring up one item. The fast-track demo. The fast-track demo on the old Stearns building. I know we voted for that, but I just wondered if the Historical Society, I talked to Harry Kame, he's quite a history buff on older antique buildings, and I wonder if the Historical Society looked at that building and what their recommendations were on that building. Some people have concerns about that. I see it's on fast track for demo, and I don't recall the complete report that we got on that. Is it possible to save the building? I would like to look into that for a little further. The other thing I want to add, we still have homes that are going under in the 6th Ward and in the city. There's still a lot of people economically distressed, losing their jobs. I just talked to a gentleman that lost his job down at the foundry at the lake there. Over 40 jobs lost there. And I want to compliment a lot of the neighbors that have taken it upon themselves to cut the lawns of their neighbors when that houses went under. And then again, the township crews that are organized with that work group that are cutting has been very, very helpful. Yep. And it really tidies up the area quite a bit. But we all need to think of our neighbors, and a lot of them are going through hardships, and we hope the recession, this deep recession, will end soon with the progress the government's trying to make. But again, the township crews have really helped spruce up the cities, and I appreciate the effort the mayor and the township did in regards to that area of getting that put together. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Alderman.
Alderman Needham.
One quick comment. I don't appreciate Alderman Conkin stealing my thunder about Halloween, since I have 3 9-year-old girls to deal with changing costumes every day. But in the past, we've kind of been criticized, I think, sometimes that our Halloween hours are so short and early. But I have to tell you that the time frame from 2 to 4, when there's plenty of light out, there's plenty of parents out, you can see the kids. I think historically it's always worked out pretty well for us. So once again, like Alderman McConaughey said, be careful, keep our eyes open, and keep an eye on all of our kids. Thank you.
Alderman Larson.
Thank you. Earlier in the meeting, we were supposed to have someone here talking about the Main Street's Holiday Fest. Violet, can you come up here really quickly and tell the audience what the date is for the Holiday Fest? Main Street, I appreciate your letting me do this. Main Street sponsors a lot of things. There's going to be a Toys for Tot benefit at Greentown on November 4th. The Veterans Day Parade is November 11th. Tom, you forgot about that. And the Holiday Fest is coming up. Do you have any details, Violet?
Thanks very much. Yes, we've sent in our special event permit to the city, and we've applied to have Holiday Fest on December 4th this year. That's a Saturday, and that day we'll be participating with a lot of downtown business owners like we did last year. Most of it happens indoors. For example, some of our business owners will be having Santa Claus or hot chocolate or ornament making for kids. We've invited the mayor. We hopefully will be there to read a book like he did last year. We'll have a Christmas tree lighting, and all of the downtown will be decorated. We've also applied through the Lake County Health Department to do s'mores at Jack Benny Plaza this year, which is Nadine Burleson's idea. She's got some really creative ideas for what we're doing downtown. We're also sponsoring a window decorating contest for all of the downtown businesses, so that'll be looking great, and we hope that you'll all be able to show up December 4th and participate. We'll have a little map indicating which businesses are participating, and we'd love to see you all there.
Thank you, Violet.
Thanks.
Well, I'd like to add that not just limit it to business owners. Why don't you invite all the property owners to be part of it?
Very good. We certainly will. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, this Thursday we have a honored guest coming to Waukegan, Mike Higbee, to review our master plan and check out where we've gone or not gone over the last few years and update the master plan and give us some ideas to work with in the future. So there's going to be a meeting here at 7 o'clock, I believe, on Thursday evening, which is open to the public. I hope everybody comes. Thank you.
Alderman Rivera.
Thank you. I want to thank the fire department. We had a house fire on Keller Avenue, and it was a quick response by the fire department. Smoke damage. No one was hurt. But I want to thank the fire department for their professionalism and how they took care of that. Also, I want to thank, on behalf of the Old Fort Lions Club, we had a candidate last weekend, and I want to thank Ken Moon for allowing the club to use one of the buildings, and I want to thank also Alice for her hospitality, Jacqueline Java for serving us coffee, and we were able to use the room there for a collection of the money and also distribution of candies throughout the city where we were stationed at. So I want to thank Alice and Ken. Thank you.
Alderman Cunningham.
A couple of things. One, I'd like to echo what Alderman Tempest said about Township and Fisk and other residents, in nearby vacant properties. It has been a major issue throughout the city of Waukegan. Township and Fisk has really stepped in and been partners with us to, to get some of these vacant properties cut. Second, I want to thank Tom Haggerty and Russ Tomlin for a quick response to a problem that we had on Kennard and Lakeview. But upon a complaint that we have over there, I noticed, and I've asked several aldermen to go out and take a look, I noticed just a horrific sight. We tore down this house 2 or 3 years ago, and I just cannot believe what has transpired over there. There's something that needs to be done. Mayor, I would suggest that you go out, Kennard and Lakeview, look to the north, and you will see something that I just don't believe people in today's living would live like that. We have to do something. We have to do something. This particular individual is living, practically living outside, bathing outside. I know I personally was, and I think part of the council was ridiculed for tearing someone's house down or whatever, but we cannot accept nor tolerate people to live in these conditions, particularly when there's children in the area. I would ask, I would beg that all aldermen take a look at this Lakeview in Kennard. It's right off Sheridan Road. I'm sorry, Genesee Street. Look to the north, and it's deplorable. It's unbelievable that someone could think of. I don't understand. But we have to do something now. It's become a public problem. If it was in any place else, and there's the only reason I think we really not, because it's being hidden by the trees. I've asked Tom to cut them down, but that is not the right thing to do, no. But I was being smart about that, Dan, don't get me. But we have to do something. There is an issue with this particular person. We need to do something. I think I had asked Alderman Tempest to stop, and I think he had some comments, so.
If I may comment, Your Honor?
Yes, Alderman Tempest.
I was down there today, and I go to the cemetery a lot. Yeah, boy, what a beautiful view over the lake, and what a beautiful lakefront development getting ready. But I was on Kennard Street today, just north, just south of South Avenue. It is not acceptable for Waukegan to have an area like that. And I would invite the mayor to go take a look at it. I know what would happen immediately if he saw it. I've seen it, you've seen it. The gentleman in charge there, there's got to be some problems there, psychological problems to keep a lot like that. There's a mailbox there. The house was knocked down by the city a number of years ago. I believe we're in litigation, but there's no way the city of Waukegan that we can allow that. Also, a lot of that is scattered into our road site, and it's been, something's wrong. I mean, it's just a gateway into Waukegan.
Well, Alderman, we will get down there, and we will also engage with the Lake County Health Department.
Yes.
I'll ask our code enforcement, our fire department, and our police department to conduct a joint wellness visit to this site. And if they feel this individual has placed himself in harm's way and is incapable of understanding his situation, then to take appropriate action.
Thank
you. We will move on it.
Your Honor, I have one more thing. I know tonight Mr. Blanks has spoke about children and about some things that they can do. And obviously, he went through a series of some things that happened to him during his lifetime, particularly as a young youth. You know, when we talk about our kids and keeping them out of trouble and keeping them busy, whether it be in the wintertime or in the summertime, there's two things that come to mind that work for me. One, in the city of Waukegan, or throughout Lake County, I think the city of Waukegan is the only city that does not have a teen center, a citywide teen center for young men and young women to go. If we take a look at where our children start misbehaving or start grabbing some of those negative vibes, it's in the middle school. The Boys and Girls Club do a great job with their K through 6, but when they get to their 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we begin to lose them. I'm pretty sure the chief understands that. We need to seriously partner Boys and Girls Club, Waukegan Park District, City of Waukegan, to find a teen center that we can house. I don't know the word house, or bring these kids where they have a nice haven to go. We must. If not, we're going to continue to arrest them, walk in the streets, do all the other negative things because, you know, the old saying is, an idle mind is a devil's playground. These kids have too much time on their hands to sit here and idle until parents get home. I'd rather for them to be a centralized location where they can sit and talk to our officers. They can sit and talk to aldermen, mayors, and other leaders of this community, or positive figures of this community. We can no longer accept and say them are somebody else's kids. They're causing problems for all of us. Second, in the summertime, you got to put these children to work. We got to find and partner with people to put young children to work. I've always been under, if you put that child to work between 9 and 5 or 9 and 3 in that hot sun, they won't have an opportunity to act a fool because they're going to be sleeping. That's just, you know, it worked for me. It worked for half of the people that I know who have had that type of structure. The unfortunate part is there's a lot of single-parent homes out there. And with economic conditions the way they are, we must find alternatives for our children, alternative ways for our children to be in a structured environment. So as we move forward, it's easy to put them in jail, to suspend them, whatever have you. But I think it's easier when we give them structured ways to do things, particularly in the city of Waukegan. Again, partnering with the Boys and Girls Club who have the structure to do that. I think the Waukegan Park District has done an excellent job, particularly the one on Sheridan Road. Let's expand that. Buying, I think the old Navy or Army place, that's where I think we need to start gearing at a teen center for those 6th, 7th, and 8th graders when they leave that school to find a place to go. If not, they're going to continue to be more of a nuisance problem more than anything else. So I hope some people are listening. I'm ready to jump in forehand. It has worked not only for me, but it's worked for my children. And I think if you talk to anyone else, other parents, they will agree with me. We must have a place for these young, energetic men and young ladies and young men to go. If not, we'll continue to house them and get them ready for the next level, and it's not pretty. Thank you, Your Honor. Take care. God bless.
Okay, thank you, Alderman. I believe that concludes Alderman's comments for this evening. Thank you very much for that. Now I will take a motion from Alderman Tempest, seconded by Alderman Moisio, to go in executive session regarding claim settlement, pending litigation, real estate sale and negotiations. Roll call, please.
Alderman Conken, Alderman Moisio, Alderman Figueroa, Alderman Newsom, Alderman Tempest, Alderman Needham, Alderman Larson, Alderman Rivera, Alderman Cunningham.
Ayes have it. We'll take approximately a 5-minute quick break and then go into executive session. Thank you.
Newt, and Alderman Tempest, Alderman Needham file a hostile work environment. Hostile work. I'm going to file a claim.
Okay.
Hostile work environment.
Back up so we can go back into regular
no,
session.
we're okay.
We're okay?
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay. Motion to go back into regular session by Alderman Cunningham, seconded by Alderman Rivera. All in favor? Motion to adjourn by Alderman Larson, seconded by Alderman Conken. All in favor? Good night.